Hello and welcome to Weems Auto. In this video, we're going to be working on a 1993 Dodge Dynasty with the 3.3 liter 6-cylinder engine. It quit running and hasn't been driven in a while, so we're going to investigate to find out what the problem is, diagnose it, and in a future video we'll do the repair on it. All right, we got everything connected here on the engine. Had to put a vice grip holding the positive because the connector is all falling apart. And we're gonna crank it over and see what happens. Go ahead. Hold on a minute. Okay, go ahead. Nothing? Hold on a minute.
Something with that box, the terminal box, eh?
Hold on. Okay.
Nothing?
All right, we lost power for a minute. Hold on a minute. All right, this is the second part of this video. The first part got the camera difficulties. The batteries weren't working real well, and found out that the Dodge Dynasty that I'm working on here was not cranking over. The starter was bad on the vehicle, so ended up pulling the starter out. Here is the old starter, and see if I can get you in real close here. You can see that those teeth are also really mangled up as well, and it just wasn't wanting to crank over. The starter was locked up, and here's our new replacement starter. And I did verify, get you in over here, by that the engine will turn over by turning this pulley right here, pulling the belt to verify that the engine will turn over, that it's not a locked up engine. So this part of the video going to be reinstalling the starter back into the vehicle, as well as right here our battery connectors are pretty bad. They're broken, mangled up. This one isn't too bad. But I'm gonna go ahead and replace these. Got these ones off of Amazon. They don't look too great. They're pretty thin, but it's better than what it's currently got. So let me get to work and get this starter reinstalled back under the vehicle. Give me a minute here to get underneath the vehicle with the camera, and I can show you where that starter goes. Underneath the car, and here is the location of where our starter is. We can get up into there. Fits right up into there. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to hold the camera and get this starter going in. There's, you can see up in here, there's one of our starter bolts, and then right here is our other one, and that bolt doesn't actually really come out all the way unless we remove the transmission, because that starter bolt is really long. So give me a few minutes, let me get this starter put in, and I can show you how I got the bolt out of the top one, because there's a lot of stuff in the way blocking it. This bottom one, I just was able to use a regular old wrench, turn it, and get it open, taken out. So again, give me a few minutes and I'll show you how I get that top starter bolt out as well as put back in. I've got the starter mounted in. The first bolt, which is right here, is fairly easy to get in. It does help out a whole lot if you have a ratcheting wrench, which I happen to have. And it is a 15 millimeter. These are pretty long bolts, so if you just have a regular wrench, it'll work, but it just takes a long time to keep turning that bolt in. And the second bolt up in here, as you can see, I've got a 15 millimeter socket attached. Try to get you up in there. There we go. There we go. 15 millimeter socket attached to a swivel and a long extension going up through the top. So that way I can get this. I turned it in by hand as much as I could. That is going to be helpful for you as well. But this is pretty much installed, and then I'll have to connect the electricals to the bottom over here. We'll get to that in a minute, but let me go ahead and get this bolt turned in, and then I'll connect up the electrical parts. All right, it was a battle, but I got that bolt in. So as you can see, I've got my extension running along in between where the battery sits and the air box down on top, and it's you actually got to use a short socket on there because there's a connector on top of the transmission that blocks you from being able to use a longer socket. But it's now in there, and now I just got to connect up the electrical connections to this, put the battery, fix up these cables right here, and then we'll put our battery in and see how she cranks over. Got our new positive connector cables cleaned up a little bit, new connector installed. As I said, the negative looked okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and leave that on there. So now let's get our battery in here. Get rid of that. There we go. Now these cables, oh, here we go. Now we got our little room. And let's put these on. Came with the connectors. That's down. What size? Yeah, a little bigger. So that, yeah, that one's a 12. Get this thing opened up a little bit. Alright, that's nice and tight. Shoot. Yep, I knew this one felt a little bit bigger. It was a 13. I don't want to tighten that down too much because I think it's very thin, and I think it would be very prone to breaking. All right, batteries installed, new starters installed. Let's crank this thing up and see what happens. Fire in the hole. Nothing. Oh, shoot. I forgot to connect the starter up. Give me a minute, let me get that connected up. Got the starter connected up, and FYI, that is a 13mm nut to tighten up that electrical connection. So here's round 2 of cranking over this car. Oh. All right, as we can see, the starter install was successful, and the engine, as I found earlier, cranks over. So the next step in this process is the car's not starting. I did not check if it has gas. Fuel gauge says that it has gas, but it's not moving, so I can't really verify whether it has gas or not. But that'll be the next step in the process, is to check and see if, I'm sure we have air, whether we have the necessary fuel going to the fuel injectors. We'll check the fuel pressure at the rail, and then we'll also check and see if we have spark to fire the fuel. So that'll be it for this video, and we'll do the diagnostic on why it's not starting in the second part of the video. Thank y'all for watching. I really appreciate it, and we'll see you in the next one.